This is Mike and Keith, by the way. They're part of the UL team, a couple of the research guys.
I think one thing to go off of, the fire needs to be in the compartment. One thing you really need to understand is this is not a tool to find the fire. This is not a tool that says we're showed up, we've got a lot of smoke, let's set up a fan because we don't exactly know where it's at. That is the farthest thing that from the truth that you could do. To use this, it is effective. When the study comes out, which, like I said, is being uploaded as we speak, you can review it. There are a lot of instances where this can be a very valuable tool, but locating the fire is not one of them. That is one of the most dangerous things you could do. The impact on visibility, the fan basically works just like natural ventilation does, how he's been explaining it. It just speeds it up. The areas that are stagnant, that are not in the flow path of where that fan is and where the exhaust point is, does not see significant visibility whatsoever. It takes a long time for stagnant areas of the house to clear. It's got to clear all those pockets of smoke, and that takes a long time. So the whole visibility aspect in the flow path, it does clear it up relatively quickly, but so does natural ventilation, like he was talking about. If that person's in that flow path, yes, you did a good thing, but if they're not, you're not really creating any better conditions. Read the study, take it in, because it is a good tool, but it needs to be taken seriously, just like I think he's really good. So, you got any questions?
Yeah, now's as good a time as any year. Because I know that it's been hanging there for a long time, isn't it?
What's the size of the structure of this study?
I think it was our 1,600, well, we did two. There was a 1,600 square foot ranch. That's pretty standard that we've done a lot, and then there was a 3,200 square foot.
2 stories with an open atrium kind of thing.
And in the study, you're going to see there is a lot of different size matters. Size of structure absolutely matters. So that'll be introduced in the study if you want to take a look.
How quickly was water added after you did this?
For study purposes, it was delayed just to see what would happen.
Because that's obviously a key factor in PPA.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I think majority of the study was focused on the ventilation aspect. What does it do ventilation-wise to provide the attack any benefit, or does it? So water was delayed in a lot of the instances just to see if it does provide benefit for the attack team through, many of the myths were visibility. It'll basically give the attack team the ability to walk to the fire. Well, we found out that did not in fact happen. So water's delayed in a lot of them, and that's the only reason why. Another cool aspect that you can see in the study is this was also in a few tests in conjunction with an exterior water application. So it took care of the rapid growth of a fire because of the fan, and it added in the element of water being put on that fire with the benefit of the fan pushing a lot of the gases. So like he said, firefighters designed it, and they brought some awesome theories and tactics to the table, and we got to test a lot of cool stuff. So the study will be out.
I find that frustrating if there's a lot of these studies that do delay that water, because especially this tool is one where it's almost simultaneous or very close to, and that's how it's most effective. And to read a study like that where it's just an addition of ventilation, absolutely, it's going to make things worse.
Well, but what
What's interesting though is that wasn't really firmly established, because there's an argument to be made, and under some circumstances, you can impact the fire, but if I'm directing it all out of the window and keeping it in that box, then maybe there's a benefit. Even if water is delayed, there's a benefit because I'm clearing the environment. So that was something we wanted to look at. That's one of the assertions that has been made about positive pressure ventilation for a long time. Turns out it's not as reliable as you might have thought it was. So
and I agree with that. Just if you take that a step further and you read your last line there, where it says the fire will return back to the fire.
exactly.
If you don't do anything else, and if your openings aren't effective enough, absolutely it will.
Yeah.
But if you add water and your openings are enough, it won't come back.
Exactly.
And you got to test.
Those pieces have to be in the
You've got to have the full spectrum. You've got to have worst case, and you've got to have best case, and then everything else falls in between. And if we were able to see benefits during the test without any water, we know that if water was applied, it would just be that much better. And some of those were tested, and you'll be able to see that.
Anybody else?
We've done a lot of studies of what you're talking about, this positive pressure attack, and the ventilation hole at the exterior is a key factor. I agree 100%. One of the things that we tried with this is that we applied the straight stream of water from the outside of the structure and initiated positive pressure attack, and you would not believe the amount of difference it made. When we started that positive pressure and sprayed water in the window, the structure cleared out within a matter of like 5 to 10 minutes. You can walk in and input out your small leftover fuel you put inside the building, and they made a tremendous difference. We've used it several times with our limited staffing plan. If you know where the fire is, you make the hole bigger and initiate this positive pressure, it cuts down the scene time considerably.
But doesn't that change your reset time for your fire?
What it done was, is that you initiate the water into the fire from the exterior position with low manpower showing up with a 3 or 4 man crew. What it done is that it knocked the fire, and I'm talking about this using it in the initial stages of the fire, to push that smoke back. Push the smoke back, and like you said, it took a long time, but once you reset the fire inside the room and the hole was bigger, and you really couldn't do this on a ventilation limited fire. The ventilator had that done self-ventilated before we seen any effect. If you tried to use it on a ventilation limited fire without any ventilation, it's coming back to the fan, period.
You know, one of the things that is a couple of guys have alluded to, the frustrating part of the research is you can't be asked every question. Because you have to, there's certain things you can't control, and you can only have so many variables. So every time they do one of these things, it begs more questions than it answers, and that's just part of the nature of the beast. So yeah, how do we couple this with water application and fan, and should we water fan, or should we fan water, or does it have to be at the same time? We didn't do that one, right? I mean, little bits of it, but.
Well, yeah, and I think what Lionel was getting at is that we've seen now with this fire attack study that water is not actually getting to everywhere in the room like we originally thought it did. So you're basically speeding up the process of it going back to flashover if you put water in that window. But that's not a question that I can truly answer at this point. I mean, the jury's still out on that one. Reviewing the PPV, we did do one where we put water through the window with the fan on, and it was impressive to see the differences. But that needs to be, you know, the time that it takes and the time that it would take a low-staffed department to get to that room. That's all on you guys. You know, you guys make that decision. We don't. We just provide you with the answer.